saying you and people like you are superior.
Yeah.
That they've done all the things, they've made all the accomplishments, and everyone else relies on you
Yeah.
and owes something to you. And when these go away, you are suddenly faced with the terrifying possibility that maybe you're not so great. Maybe you and people like you aren't the heroes of the story. You aren't the good guys. Maybe things are a little more nuanced than that. Maybe everything you've been taught isn't right. It's inaccurate. And I know that's a lot to grasp for people to get the concept that everything you know that is right and true in the world is not.
Yep.
That is shocking. That is going to blow your mind out the water. But guess what? It's real. I know someone right now, a white person, someone that's very close to me, that's having a very hard time. And you know why they're having a hard time? Is
Because they're having to rethink their entire, like, literally the entire history that they've been taught and also their own place in the world.
exactly. They and this person had believed they were woke and that they were on it or whatever. But the first protests in New York following George Floyd, they went. And when they got there, they were shoved, pushed, and hit by the police. They were being peaceful. They were carrying a sign, and they were shoved around. They were pushed to the ground. And they did not expect that type of treatment because they were white. They thought they were safe. They thought they were going to be able to put their bodies between the police and black people and be safe. And they weren't. They saw the vitriol. They saw how the police treat black people. And suddenly the world changes. Suddenly everything that you're taught, everything you think you know, isn't. And that shocked them. That changed the way they live. That changed the way they thought. That's what happens. And for people who are not ready for that, which most people aren't, but are people who can't handle that, especially people who have already built their identities upon those myths, they cannot handle the concept. They cannot handle their world being shattered like that. So they're going to try to defend these statues. They're going to try to defend having Aunt Jemima on pancakes. They're going to try to defend the Confederate flags. They're going to try to defend the Washington Redskins mascot. Because if this stuff goes, everything goes.
Yeah.
And and people can't handle it. Like, it amazes me. And this is not just, let me get this real. This is not just for, I'm not just talking about your people on the right, your very white supremacist people. I'm not just talking about them. I'm talking about quote unquote liberals, even quote unquote progressives.
Yeah.
Like, these things shatter your world. I don't know how many people I've seen that have quote unquote have been calling themselves quote unquote progressive and it's gone, well, this is too far. It's too far. Why would you do this? Why are we removing this and that? When you know why we're doing it, but you can't accept it because it would change how you think.
Yeah.
Because even as a quote unquote progressive, you think you're the good guy. You're making your sacrifice. You're And you have the idea that you're the sacrificial hero, that you're going to, I'm giving up my whiteness so I can come save the Negroes.
But also, they don't need to be saved. And are you really giving up your whiteness?
Exactly. So when these symbols of your whiteness start to come down, you get real funny, because suddenly you don't feel like the hero anymore. Suddenly you feel like you might be part of the problem. Suddenly you are part of the problem.
I mean, that one wasn't sudden.
Yeah, like you have to confront yourself. You're white, like you're not the hero anymore. It's suddenly real, and you can't handle it.
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, everybody knows where I stand. Tear the fucking things down, man. Throw up some other statues. And white people, if you feel like you need to have some statues of white people, I'm thinking of Tennessee specifically. All right, replace those Confederate statues with, I don't know, throw up Dolly Parton. She's pretty beast.
Okay, Dolly Parton is my hero. Right?
Yeah, Dolly Parton's pretty beast. Or
I love her.
Like if you feel like you need to throw up some white people to feel good about yourself, throw up some white people to actually try to help.
Oh, what's her name? Viola. What's her last name? Who was from like Detroit, and when she heard about the Freedom Riders movement, she left her son and her daughter to go down and participate. And when she went home, her husband like tried to have her committed, because he thought the only reason that she would want to do something like that was because she was insane. Like, put up a statue of her. Damn.
Right.
If you have to have statues of white people. But I will say, one of the most disheartening things that I've seen, even from like, okay, I watch a lot of YouTube because I do a lot of crafts. And like from a lot of the YouTube personalities that I follow who have been commenting on this, their takes are very, very good. Like, tear down the statues and this is why we're doing it and all the stuff. Up until the point when they say, the Confederacy was such a small part of our history. SpongeBob has been part of our history for longer than that. Put up a statue of SpongeBob. And I'm like, don't put up a statue of SpongeBob. Put up a statue of any of the heroic black people who suffered at the hands of these fucking Confederates, who did incredible things to help themselves and to help their people and to help this country. And we don't know about it because nobody put up statues of them.
Right. And that's honestly back on the history on the history argument of, well, if we don't have statues, then we won't know our history.
Like, we don't.
Like, yeah, exactly.
We don't know our history. We don't know our history because we've been spoon-fed this extremely narrow, very specific, very white version of the history of events, especially surrounding the Confederacy, but also, like, in the entire history of our country, because actually acknowledging the accomplishments and the contributions of black people and the pain that these white so-called heroes have done to black people and Native people and Mexican people and like all of these people is too painful, and it conflicts with what we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was a rant.
No, you're exactly right. How many hundreds, like how many people know about Phyllis Wheatley?
Not enough.
Or as being seeing as it's July 3rd, how many people know about the slave who worked as a spy for the Revolutionary Army and gave them the plans of General Cornwallis to end the Revolutionary War at the Battle of Yorktown?
See,
No
I
one.
don't know that one.
No one knows a slave ran. A slave pretended to be a servant at General Cornwallis's uh, place and ran the plans back 5 foot under the cover of darkness so that the rebels could defeat the British military at the Battle of Yorktown. No one.
Yep.
What about and I can't remember her name, unfortunately, but the woman, the black woman who was a slave, who dressed as a man to fight in the Revolutionary Army.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows about these people.
Right.
Hell, if we can go with somebody we know. What about Crispus Attucks? The first death that kicked off the Revolutionary War was a black man.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about history? Oh, we got history. That's your history.
Yeah.
It's right there. But you weren't ever taught it because you needed your pure lily white heroes.
Yep.
Because blackness meant badness. Blackness was lesser. And if you ever heard of these incredible black people who are responsible for your way of life, it would destroy everything you know. And the list goes on and on and on and on.
Yep.
That's why one of the things I always say was black people built this country, both literally and figuratively. So why are we even having these fucking conversations? We're only having these conversations because you can't handle it.
Yep.
It's like I said, it still it blows my mind. It does. There are so many people I can think of, and I mean, hell, if we want to make the jokes that put up a statue of SpongeBob, they lasted longer or whatever. Oh, there are some modern black people who have done so much that have lasted longer than the Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, give them some acknowledgement. You want to be real? Give them some acknowledgement.
Yeah. Put up a statue of Outcast.
Put up a statue of Outcast. Do you know how much Outcast is giving back to their community?
Lots.
Do you know what issues Outcast has put in their music and put out that has been put out? For the city of Atlanta, Outcasts are heroes. Heroes. Much more than any of the Confederate stuff that statues that are in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Put them up. Hell, on the same vein of musicians, put up NWA. Put up some NWA statues. Put up some fuck the police statues. That's what
that'd be great.
Like that would be fucking amazing. Big old statue of Eazy-E. And I mean, hell, like it's oh my god, I like I said, I could go on and on and on all day. Like I think I've said everything I need to say. I also like to point out that if you still want to use fiction, if you want to use white people, good white people statues, if you want to do that, white folks to feel good about yourself, there's a statue of Captain America in Brooklyn.
Ha.
Like